As many of you know, I reached the National Master title by playing nothing but the Hippopotamus Defense. I'm now considering going for the FM and IM titles, and I've really been putting a lot of work into the Modern Defense. And guys, this is a dangerous system for Black that works very well at the highest levels. We're going to be taking a look today at a game played by Magnus Carlsen. I mean, you know, pretty good. He's okay. And against the move E4, he starts this thing off with G6. Now, I typically play Bishop G7 on move 2, going into my Hippo or other systems available. Here in the game, though, we see the move of D6. I personally wouldn't play this on move 2, but I mean, it's Magnus Carlsen, so I'm not going to fight him on it. Bishop G7, Bishop E3 now played. Now, this is a 150 attack, English attack type position from White, in which case White will often just start hurling pawns down the board like crazy. And it's really this position that I've been putting a lot of work into, looking at A6 and B5, which is exactly what we see here from Carlsen. And this position here performs very well for Black at the Master and Grandmaster level in tournament professional chess. So this is a sound option for Black. It really does put pressure on White. What we have now is a race. White will often just throw pawns down like crazy on the king side of the board, and we're going to attack on the queen side. Good thing for us is that we have this fiend-coated bishop, which is already looking that way. In the game here, we have F3. We now have knight D7. H4 is played, and now there's multiple options that we could go with. H6 is a move that we could play, although, you know, I think a lot of players would probably prefer H5 or knight Gf6. Knight Gf6 is what we see in the game here. White continued with castling queenside, but let's just say White played G4. Here, the best moves we have are playing H6 or H5. When you see this kind of setup from White, you got to do something. You really do, because, I mean, you don't want to get trampled here. If you just make some kind of quiet little move, White plays H5. You can't even think about locking it up from that point, and because obviously the bishop would just take it right off the board. If you take, that's not good for you at all, and White there has the leverage to push, to take. We don't want that. So here, one option you have is H6. Now, if White pushes to H5, we play G5. That's the whole point, right, of playing H6, so that against H5 we can push, we can lock it up. Hey, you want to keep going crazy? We could take on F4. We could even snatch off the pawn on G4 here. If you want to take again, okay, we take the queen over to the spot of E3, right? We capture the bishop. Queen takes E3, and there's a lot of moves here. I mean, the engine is liking C5. The engine is liking E5 right now, doubling up against that pawn, doubling up against that pawn on D4. I mean, guys, the Modern Defense can very quickly go wrong for the White side. And returning, let's say White plays G5 playing aggressively. Well, then we take. That's another added plus of H6. You play G5, we take. You can't take with the H-pawn, or we say thank you for the rook. And if you take with the bishop, C5 here, great move. C5, if you want to take, we can capture back with our pawn or our knight. I mean, in this case, knight takes C5 is very active. And again, White here, they might be thinking, you know what? I'm playing aggressively. I'm pushing pawns. Hold up, though. Black has B4. You want to play something like knight D5? I'm just showing you some ideas here. We could take, and yes, our bishop's looking at B2. Why not have a knight look at it? All of a sudden, White realizes they're the one being attacked. If B3 looking to save that pawn, okay, knight C3, attacking the rook, attacking A2, queen A5, and bishop F5 ideas in play. Incredible stuff. The other approach against G4 is playing H5. H5 there, and I mean, if we see G5, going knight H7 in this kind of position, okay? Bishop H6 isn't possible because the pawn's blocking it. And if F4, we could play bishop B7, putting pressure on E4 there. If bishop G2, let's play aggressively, guys. We gotta put pressure on White's center. We gave them the center. We're taking space. We have both of our bishops fiend-kettled. Let's go after that center and go after White's king aggressively. I mean, if castling queenside, B4, keep pushing. Knight C2, we could even castle. You want to take, you just made our bishop way better. I know that your queen and rook have some more activity, but we don't have to take with the pawn and drop our knight. We just take with the knight there. You want to take again at this point? Hey, you want to trade? That's all good with us. White's pawn structure is very advanced on the king side, and we have two fiend-kettled bishops, which are the two best minor pieces on the board for either side. And if you take on B4, okay, White's up a pawn here. But we have semi-open files with b8 to b2 and c8 to c2. And these are files that white's rooks just can't fight for. I mean, first off, it's not even practical, but because there's this king on c1. But if you put a rook on c1 or a rook on b1, you're not active, you're just defending. But if we put rooks on b8 and c8, we're very active in that position. I mean, rook to b8, let's start with that. You want to take on c5? We could play bishop a8, attack the queen. And by doing that, we're also eyeing up this pawn on b2. I mean, let's just say you step out of the way, we throw in a check. We throw in another check. If c3, we can capture. And this is just an example line. I'm just showing some ideas here. But white's position, again, can crumble very quickly. So in the game here, right, we actually don't see the move of g4. We see castling queenside. And now the move of h5 from Magnus Carlsen going, you know what, I don't even want you to play g4. You could have played it. Now you can't. e5 is what we end up seeing. And this is really where, you know, I think a lot of players would say that the modern defense is more for advanced or intermediate players. If you're a beginner player and you like the modern and you want to learn more about it, go ahead. What I would say, though, is that you got to play with very high accuracy, and there's very complex ideas that you have to master. I mean, here, there's only one move for us that's not losing, and that move is not moving our knight. Well, first off, it's not taking the pawn. That's terrible, because once white captures back, we can't take the pawn again. I mean, sure, we won a pawn, but then we just get checkmated on move 11. And if we take and then move our knight, well, okay, I mean, queen d5 is an option, attacking our rook. We got to save our rook. Okay, e6. I mean, this is just not fun, like, at all. Against e5, if we go to h7, well, in this case, there's no pawn on g5, so bishop h6 can be played. And if we capture off, the queen flies in. I mean, queen g7 is an idea there. Knight e4 is an idea there, putting more pressure. Knight g5 maybe. I mean, this is terrible. And if knight g8, white has e6. I mean, if we don't take the pawn, they're going to take on f7. And if we do take the pawn, well, we have two major weaknesses there. Bishop d3, I mean, just not wasting any time. Going after g6 and knight f8. I kind of like knight h3 for white. Looking at g5, which is an outpost. None of our pawns can cover that square. Knight f4 is also a strong idea for white, doubling up on g6. I mean, we're on the brink of losing this game. So against the move e5, there's only one move we have available, which, of course, Magnus Carlsen finds. b4. Keep that in mind. If white tries to just overstep in the center and just trample you in the center of the board and take the game over, don't run away with the knight. Don't take the pawn. You need to have your pawn on b5 in that kind of position to really distract the knight on c3, because if the knight runs, they're giving you the d5 square. That's very important. There's a big difference between our knight going to h7 or g8 and our knight going to the square of d5. Major difference there in activity and major difference in stopping white's ideas. Now, with b4, let's just say white took on f6. We're not going to take that back and then let white run away. We'd be down material. We're losing. We're going to take on c3. And, okay, if you want to take on c3, which is the best thing white can do, we take back with our knight. Solid position here. We have the b8 square available, and we have great coverage on g4. I mean, we got a pawn, a knight, and a bishop all looking at that spot. I'd be thinking about castling kingside. I'd be thinking about putting a rook on b8. Hey, maybe c5 at some point, unleashing the dark squared bishop. But let's just say white takes on g7. The reason this works is because white's king is not on b1, but it's on c1. If the king was on b1 here, white would love for us to take their queen. Why? Because they would take our rook, grab the queen off the side of the table, and put it right back on the board, and we just lost a rook. But here, when we take on d2, it's with check. White can't take our rook. They'd love to, but they just can't. They got to take our pawn, and then we save our rook, we're winning. We're up 5 points in material right now. So again, that idea there with b4. If white takes on f6, we take. If they take again, we take with check, play rook g8, resignable for white. So in the game here, white ends up playing knight to b1. That's a little bit passive. I mean, the engine there likes, I mean, really any other, logical knight move, knight a4, knight e4, knight e2, any of those are better for white than knight to b1. That's very, very passive, very awkward, and it really cramps up that king. That king doesn't have a lot of flexibility now. The knight can't even move without just getting captured. So not a very good move for black, or for white, that is. In the game here, knight to d5. a great move. And, you know, some of you might be wondering, should white play e6? The answer is yes, you're correct. I mean, e6, capturing back, knight h3. I mean, as black there, we have activity, we have space. White has ideas too, though, but instead we see the move of bishop to g5, and this is just too slow. Guys, the modern defense is not, it's not whimsy, it's not timid. I know it starts out slow. By playing g6, you're not going to win the game in 5 moves, but stuff can build up very quickly when played correctly, and these knights are ready to pounce. Rook e1 is played in the game. Okay, rook to e1. And we now see bishop to e6. Beautiful idea. We got both of our bishops looking towards their king side. Well, it's the queen side technically, but, you know, I'm talking about the king right now, right? But they're both faced towards the queen side of the board, towards their king. That's the more official terminology. And hey, if white wants to take on d6, we capture back with our queen, for example. Our bishop's actually giving our king more protection too. That's great. I mean, you want to play g4 attacking us? Who cares? c5. Right, c5, doubling up against that pawn. You want to take, we capture back with our queen. If we're looking at activity here, it's not even close. Black has way more. In the game, we see the move of pawn to f4. White here pushing. It's just too slow, though. I mean, if you're looking at this pawn structure, white has all their pawns on dark squares. We have great control of the light squares. g4, we have a pawn and a bishop. f5, a pawn and a bishop. d5, we have a piece on it. I mean, queen d7 is played here, bishop d3, and here we see a5. Now, the engine actually likes c5. Kind of a crazy idea. If white takes, we capture back, and we're looking towards c4 as a possibility. I mean, we could put a rook on d8. We are blasting this game open in a great way. And if white takes on d6, we have multiple moves, including queen captures back. We could also play c4. I mean, those pawns side by side, guys, are really stamping out space on the third rank on white's side of the board. And now we can take on d6. And in terms of attacking chances, again, it's not even close. The modern defense coming in clutch. So that would have been a great move. Instead, we see a5. Black still has an edge here. Queen e2 is played. And the engine likes castling kingside, which Magnus Carlsen did not play. Now, some might be worried about castling kingside, and sometimes the engine goes, hey, castle kingside, and we're all sitting there like, no, that's terrible. In this case, I get it. I mean, practically speaking, I actually do think our king's pretty safe. Again, I know there's advanced pawns and stuff, but where are they going to go? d4, can't move. e5, you can take. Big deal. f4, I mean, we got a bishop and a queen looking at f5. g4, a bishop and a queen looking at g4. h4 cannot move. It's just hard for white to break this kind of game open. Instead, we see castling queen side. Black's still better here. And this is actually a very common type of technique that you see modern defense players using. White goes crazy on the king side of the board. Black's going crazy on the queen side. It's a race. White's hoping to checkmate the king. And then all of a sudden we go, you know what? It's move 15. I'm just going to go to the side where I'm attacking you. All of a sudden you're attacking heir. I'm attacking your king. That's a great place to be. A lot of you might be uncomfortable with attacking in front of your king. We're all told not to push pawns in front of our king. And overall, this is true. But what I would say is that as you play chess more, you're going to realize there are systems, there are positions available. For example, the king's Indian defense is one of them, where we constantly push pawns in front of our king and play attacking chess. Oftentimes, if you have a fianchettoed bishop, that gives you more flexibility to push pawns in front of your king because you have that extra fianchettoed bishop right in front of your king, serving as, well, kind of a pawn in front of the king. Just some more material, some more protection there. In the Hippopotamus Defense, I have played a bunch of games where I have my fianchettoed bishop right in front of my king, or right by my king, and I hurl down those pawns like crazy. In the game here, white plays knight to f3. We now see king to b8. I mean, that's just a grandmaster move. What else are we going to say? White there was probably considering bishop a6 check ideas when they're calculating and they're thinking through lines and possibilities, or, you know, maybe moving the bishop out of the way and getting a queen in there. Well, guess what? King b8, you can play bishop a6, you can play queen a6, but it's never going to be check again. Knight bd2 is played. And now we have queen a4, activating move. Our queen looking at c2 and a2. c2 and a2 there. Both of our bishops are aimed towards the queen side. Our knights are actively placed and ready to pounce. And sure, right now, this bishop can't see far. Right now, this bishop can't see far. But you never know when things are going to break open. And if this was a black pawn here, yeah, this bishop would be pretty bad. I mean, the pawn's not going to move anywhere, right? Our pawn would be locked up. But a knight can very easily move whenever it wants to. So that's why I would consider this bishop very strong. And for white here, you got to be very careful to not allow this bishop to make more progress. Now, e takes d6 is played. I don't think that's a good move. That helps our bishop get a little bit more scope, right? Now, let's just say white played b3. Is that a good move? No. Queen a3 would check. Hey, if you go to d1, game over. That's it. If you go to b1, knight c3, we take on a2. That's it. What about king b1? Is that a good move? Nope. Knight c3 would check. If you go to a1, the game's over, right? I mean, if you go to c1, we take your queen. If you take our knight there, we have multiple moves, including queen a3. That's a pretty hard move to find. I mean, taking on c3 gives us a good position. Knight d5 gives us a great position as well. But queen a3 is the engine move. And before queen a3, it says we have a mate and 6 as black. So, I mean, white is in major trouble here. Let's just say white plays the best move they can in terms of surviving the longest. We could either take on c3, threatening mate, or play knight a4, threatening mate. If white's trying to survive, according to Stockfish, they'll take on c7, they'll throw in a check just to make it an extra move. And then here, yeah, we're threatening mate on b2. If they stop that, well, it turns out we had another threat. First off, we could take the knight, but we could also go knight takes e3, and queen takes a2. So that's great for us. So this is a very hard position to play. I mean, you know, sure, white should have, quote unquote, thought about knight e4, knight c4, that kind of stuff. And I would encourage white, hey, you're getting attacked, try to trade down as much as you can. But I mean, even knight e4 and knight c4, those are ugly moves, and we are attacking a2 right now. So no matter what white does, they are losing. I mean, e takes d6 is played. The engine here likes rook takes d6. Crazy idea. We instead see c takes d6, which I think is really logical, makes a lot of sense. You're opening up that c8 square for your rook. Does king b1 here work? No, because we have knight c3 again, and there's that bishop on e6 and that queen ganging up on a2, right? I mean, that's just great stuff. And again, if you take, we do have queen to a3 there as the engine move, among other options that are winning, with, you know, ideas of getting our knight into play. So, I mean, yeah, just great stuff here. Bishop takes g6 was played in the game. We now have black going, you know what, that's winning, but I'm just going to keep forging ahead. Queen takes a2. Bishop e4 it wasn't played in the game, but if we did see that, I like this idea of rook c8, right? Rook c8 and even doubling up rooks. Why not? I mean, if we're talking about our least active piece, I would say this rook is. This is really our only bad piece right now. So we want to get it to c8. I'm not playing rook to d8 there. I want to get it to c8. Why not? And in fact, yeah, knight a4, great move. Queen a1 check, great move. You could even play rook to c3. And if white takes, you have a check. I mean, if king to b1, we're going to capture on c3 with check. If king to d1, we still capture on c3 with check. You got to give up your queen. Resignable for white. And all that said, in the game here, we see the move of f5. Black here goes, yeah, you're attacking my bishop. I don't care. Knight a4. Right? Knight a4. We're threatening a mate in 2. I mean, if you want to take on e6, we take on b2. We now have 2 moves that win the game on the spot. Beautiful knights. What if white threw in a check? Why didn't white do that? Well, knight db6. This knight is both protecting the knight on b6 and is supporting queen takes b2 ideas. I mean, this is just undefendable for white. You take on e6, okay, we check, and we mate. The game is over. What about knight c4? Does this save white, giving that pawn some support? Well, we have multiple options, but one idea that I want to focus in on is the idea of checking the king. A lot of players here might go, you know what, I'm going to check that king. I'm going to play aggressively. Hold up. The king just runs. Now your queen's attacked and white's winning. Crazy. I mean, just that one little mistake there. And it's like, okay, well, we got to save our queen. Okay, rook a1. Our queen's done, guys. The queen's going to fall. Queen's trapped. So don't just think about how can I check the king. Think about where can my opponent's king run away and stop the king from running away. Now, in this case, we actually can't stop the king from running to d2, but we can get great activity with knight d c3. All right, now, yes, this knight isn't attacking d2, but it is attacking the queen. And if white takes the knight, we now capture back with the pawn. Now this would be checkmate. There is nowhere to run. If king d1, okay, we throw in a check. White barely gets their bishop in. We could take on c4. And, I mean, this is a great position for us. Knight b2, that is a checkmate threat. If it's our move here, we're not taking the queen. We're checkmating. We're winning on the spot. And if white takes, knight b2, okay, fine, whatever. We'll take the queen. We'll even take a pawn right before that, and then we'll capture the queen off. We're up 8 points in material, so I think we'll be okay. And yeah, I mean, this is just a great position. White ends up playing the move of knight to e4, giving that king some potential room. But we now have queen takes b2 with check, knight a c3, really crowding that area of the board up. And white here played queen to d3. I mean, if white does take the knight, we could throw in a check. You go to d1, another check. Bishop d7 can be played. Let's just say white takes on f7. How do we approach this position? Well, we're sitting at even material, which is great. We're attacking. We're sitting at even material. Let's not trade. There's no point of trading right now. We're not up a rook or anything. Let's just keep adding more pressure. Knight to b4. Let's say bishop b3. I like bishop f6. Queen f2? All right, I like a4 there. Why not? We have a passed pawn. Let's push it. You want to take? We'll gladly capture back. You're not going to take? Okay. I mean, if we can make a second queen, I'm all for that. Returning to b takes c3. Let's say the king runs to d3. Well, let's save our bishop and get that bishop to be an aggressive attacking piece. Here, the engine move for white is king to e4. It's kind of crazy. Turns out rook to b1 there falls to bishop a6, and that's cleanly capturing off that queen. If king e4, we could take on g6. And again, hey, you want to take our queen. This is where tactics come in. This is where puzzles are very important. Board visualization exercises, all that kind of stuff. Here, we take on f5 with our pawn. Now, if king d3, mate on the spot. King takes d5, e6 with check. King c4, mate on the spot. King c6, mate on the spot. And if white takes on e6 with the queen, well, okay, we capture there. And this kind of position, white does have a rook pinning our queen, but we're up 7 points in material. They get our queen, they lose their rook. They'll get 4 points back. We're still going to be up 3. 7 minus 4, 3. I mean, that's just easily crushing. And with f takes g6, if white just goes, hey, I'm going to take the pawn back, I mean, bishop b7, and white has their king on e4, guys. If we see rook to b1, multiple options, including knight to b4 with check. All that said, in the game, we don't see knight takes c3, allowing black to keep pushing. We see the move of queen to d3. Magnus Carlsen now plays the move of bishop to d7, saves the bishop, and then activates the bishop with bishop b5, which, I mean, really just traps the queen. The white queen is done now. White could have tried rook to b1. I mean, if we see that, we could take the rook with check. We could even take the queen and then cleanly take off the piece on e4, and we're still attacking and we're up a full minor piece. And if white takes on b5, which is what we see in the game, we can capture back. Bishop takes d5 is played. Knight takes d4, and white seemingly resigns. So again, y'all, great game there by Magnus Carlsen, really highlighting just how dangerous the modern defense could be. I could even throw in the Pirc defense because it's a lot of the same ideas, and sometimes you transpose into the same positions. Going back to e4, it's g6. I usually play bishop g7, but okay, in the game here we have d6 and then bishop g7. And here against bishop e3, white's playing aggressively. I love this idea of a6 and b5, throwing my pawns down the queen side of the board. And it's very complicated chess. You got to be aware of some theory here. You got to be aware of some ideas, specifically how to relate when white just starts going crazy on the king side of the board. I mean, if h4 here, I would recommend, hey, let's think about h6, let's think about h5, let's think about knight f6. You got to do something there to stunt their advancement and make it so that if they push too hard, you're the one with the edge, not them. But let me know what you thought of this modern defense game down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. I wanted to finish this video out by giving a big thanks to Walter, Steve, Rob, that's a lot of Robs, Ray, Roger, and the rest of my Patreon community. I appreciate you guys a ton. If you guys haven't checked out the Patreon before, there are some exclusive benefits that you gain by becoming a member, and I look forward to seeing y'all in the next video. Peace.